What happens when life feels overwhelming, when fear seems to trap us in endless loops and nothing appears to be going as planned? In this podcast episode, Mel Robbins is joined by Mark Nepo, the acclaimed author of the Book of Awakening, who delivers a profound invitation to step into presence and discover new ways to embrace even the most painful moments. What if the very feelings of loneliness, change, and struggle you try to avoid are actually the portals to awakening a deeper connection to yourself and the world around you? At the core of this conversation is a simple yet powerful idea. The most transformative thing we can do when feeling powerless is to admit what is true. How often do we resist facing the reality of our emotions, the fear of loneliness, the pain of loss, the anxiety about change? Mark Nepo reframes these experiences not as defeats, but as gateways. Admitting the truth is not about surrendering to despair. It's about courageously letting life in, opening ourselves to receive the unexpected gifts that even suffering and uncertainty can offer. This act of admission is both a declaration and an invitation to let in reality fully and invite grace to enter where resistance once lived. Mark emphasizes that life does not exist over there, in some distant place, or in a future of constant striving. Rather, life is right here, in the very moment we inhabit now. He reminds us that the modern experience is often marked by a sense of disconnection from ourselves, from others, and from the greater mystery that enfolds us. Yet, as Mark describes, there is an openness available to every one of us if we are willing to seek or create what he calls a heart space. This heart space is where we begin to realize we are, ultimately, more together than alone. Even in moments when we feel closed off or stuck, Mark shares that we have the choice to open, to listen deeply, not just outwardly, but also inwardly. In fact, his work teaches that great suffering and great love serve as profound teachers. Whether by willfully shedding old layers or being broken open by life, these experiences crack us wide enough to let in new understanding. Have you ever stopped to truly ask, what is it like to be me right now? Or what do I truly care about? Mark encourages us to replace judgment and dismissal with curiosity and compassion toward ourselves and others. Mark's reflections are woven through personal stories, stories of illness, grief, and the miraculous moments that emerged within them. Diagnosed in his 30s with a rare lymphoma, Mark describes confronting mortality as the ultimate fire that changes everything. Yet in this trial, he found that being fully present, feeling everything without resistance, opened a portal to grace. It was in the simple act of noticing sunlight or the life unfolding nearby that he connected to a larger pattern of existence. This sensibility translates into daily life through rituals, deliberate, present actions that root us in the moment and open us to the hidden order of the universe. Unlike mere habits done on autopilot, rituals invite us to infuse small acts, making coffee, feeding a pet, opening the blinds, with intention and heart. They orient us toward presence and invite connection, both with ourselves and those around us. Could it be that something as ordinary as making the bed or watering flowers might hold the power to shift your entire day? One of the vivid metaphors Mark shares is that of the salmon swimming upstream. Much like the salmon that persistently bumps against blocked pathways until it finds the clear current, we face moments in life where the hardest path is the clearest and most essential way forward. Resistance often masks our deepest yearnings. Fear can keep us stuck long after the river calls us. Yet this metaphor invites us to muster the courage to turn toward the rushing current rather than push futilely against obstacles. How often do we find ourselves stalled, knocking against a barrier, instead of trusting the flow leading us to what matters most? Mark and Mel explore the importance of acknowledging when the way is hard, but then committing to move through with wholeheartedness. They connect this process to resilience, not a ignoring of pain, but a willingness to be thoroughly who we are, aware of all our vulnerabilities and gifts in relationship to life's full complexity. Mark's latest work, the fifth season, invites a reconsideration of aging, not as decline, but as a time for creativity, deepening purpose, and letting our inner light shine brighter. He shares a compelling metaphor of a meteor burning through the atmosphere, losing outer layers but glowing more intensely. This image reframes the flaking off of physical limitations as part of a process that reveals our essence more clearly. In this season of life, Mark suggests that purpose isn't necessarily about grand achievements, but about tending to what makes us come alive and blooming fully in the present. He urges us to stop chasing external validation and instead focus on nurturing the authentic self, our internal nectar, that naturally attracts connection and love. Could aging be a time not just of reflection, but of blossoming into a truer version of who we were always meant to be? Towards the close of the conversation, Mark provides both profound insight and comfort about faith and compassion. He reframes faith simply as resting the heart in what is true, and compassion as being with another without judgment or rushing to fix. These concepts invite us into an active, ongoing practice, one of openness, patience, and generosity, not only toward others, but also toward ourselves. Mark reminds us that being human means embracing contradiction, sorrow, joy, strength, and fragility simultaneously. Life's fullness cannot be filtered through a desire for easy emotions or quick fixes. In this sense, compassion becomes the courage to be present even when it hurts, and the recognition that none of us walks this path alone. If you find yourself yearning to transform your experience, Mark's invitation is clear. Don't try to be like anyone else. Find your own direct connection with life by opening your heart and admitting what is true for you in this moment. This simple practice, repeated with kindness and curiosity, creates the foundation to receive more light, love, and possibility than you may now imagine. Mel Robbins closes the episode with an affirmation that leavens the wisdom shared. I love you and I believe in you. It's a reminder that, even on days when nothing seems to work, your ability to open yourself to the magic of life can lead to a better day, a better relationship, and ultimately a better life.